Okay, document D, moving right along. Document D on page 107 is a reading, and the source is from Charles W. Upham, who wrote a book called Salem Witchcraft in 1867. So he's writing this almost 200 years after the Salem witch trials, about 175 years after the witch trials. And Charles Upham was a 19th century historian who lived in Salem and studied the witch trials much of his adult life. He served in the House of Representatives and as the mayor of Salem. Some important notes before we actually look at the reading, and you're certainly welcome to pause and jot notes down on either border of document D. Documents C and D are really considered a pair in this Mini-Q. Together, both documents suggest that the young girls, the afflicted, might have been acting. And Mr. Upham's interpretation, written in 1867, relies heavily on the reading of documents such as the examination of Bridget Bishop, which we just completed in document C. Mr. Upham emphasizes that the girls' fits appear to be orchestrated, or something that they have planned out, and that they very well might be acting. Mr. Upham's interpretation still seems to be the popular belief. A lot of historians have accepted Upham's determination that the girls were, quote unquote, faking it when they were acting afflicted, when they acted under the spell of the girls in the courtroom, in the magistrates' chambers. The afflicted, according to Upham, were faking it, and they were in cahoots, or they were in with the girls who were pretending to be witches. However, some recent historians argue that the girls could not possibly have lied their way through the entire 9 months of the trial. They may have actually come to believe the truth of their charges, supported as they were by a willing adult community. In other words, some historians, some modern day historians, believe that the girls, they might have started out faking it and pretending to be under the spell of witches, but as more and more people, especially the adults in the community, came to accept it and believe it, some historians feel that the girls started to believe it as well. Upham himself, at other points in his own book, the book that's referenced up here at the top of document D, in his book he speaks of the fear of Indian raids that prevailed throughout the years surrounding 1692. And the belief was widespread that the Indians worshiped the devil. And in this atmosphere of paranoia, there's a vocab word for you guys, it's on your Salem Witch Quizlet deck. In this atmosphere of paranoia, many Salem adults, as well as the girls, found it easy to be sucked in by their own imaginings or their own belief that witchcraft was alive and well as the devil was alive and well in the Salem community in 1692. And with all that in mind, let's look at what Mr. Upham writes in his book in 1867 in document D. What he writes is, "What are we to think of those persons who," continued the accusations, "the afflicted children and their associates? They soon became intoxicated by the terrible success of their imposture," which means acting, "and were swept along by the frenzy they had occasioned. Once or twice they were caught in their own snare, and nothing but the blindness of the bewildered community saved them from well-deserved punishment. It is dreadful to reflect upon the enormity of their wickedness. There can be no doubt that they were great actors." And down below here you've got an asterisk that notes the definition of notoriety. Notoriety is fame for doing something bad. And the final sentence of this excerpt by Charles Upham states, "There can be no doubt that they were great actors." So that kind of is a well pointed statement about what this author thinks about both the accused, or the afflicted, and the accused witches. He believes that they were great actors. So looking at the questions, here's what you will need to answer for document D. Question 1, what was Charles Upham who was Charles Upham and when did he write this passage? Again, refer to the document and the document notes. Question 2, according to Upham, what was the cause of the Salem witch trial hysteria? Okay, and if you reread the excerpt from his book above, it'll be pretty obvious what he feels was the cause of the witch trial hysteria. Question 3, what does Upham mean when he says the girls became intoxicated by the terrible success of their acting? In answering question 3, note the word intoxicated does not necessarily mean, in this instance, drunkenness. It does, however, suggest that they became very excited or very happy about their success in fooling the community. So what does Upham mean when he says the girls became intoxicated? They became intoxicated by what? Okay. Question 4. Does Upham offer any explanation in this passage why the adults in the Salem community took the girls seriously? Okay. And explain your answer in question 4. Question 5. Does the testimony in document C support Upham? Explain your thinking. Because this is these two documents are paired. Okay, go back to document C, and does the testimony in document C support Upham's analysis that suggests the girls were faking it? Explain your reasoning, explain your thinking. And question 6, do the statistics in document B support Upham? Do the statistics in document B support Upham? Explain your thinking. Again, we're asking you to go back and forth between a couple of the other documents to answer questions 5 and to answer question 6.